Okay, so to start, all we're going to do is that we have the piece of fabric right here and we have the zipper, and as you notice, the zipper is exactly the same length of the piece of fabric. I already have seam allowance right here because the zipper opening is right here, and I also have seam allowance on this side because here is the zipper opening, okay? So I also noticed that the right side of the zipper and the right side of the fabric are together like this. And I already put right here on the sewing machine the zipper foot right here. Now let me just remove it because I need actually this end right here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to sew from here. Oops, this is on zigzag. Let's put it on a straight stitch. Here is good. It's good, and the tension is fine there. Okay, so let's back stitch, and I'm going to open the zipper so it's easier, and I'm just attaching the zipper to the fabric, okay, with a regular stitch. I'm going to move the card from the way so I can finish all of the way, and I'm going to back stitch right here. So since this pouch have a lining, this is going to be the lining. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to encase the zipper between the major fabric and the lining right here, but to make your job easier, I'm going to flip it. Again, let me show this again. So this is the right side of the fabric, right side of the zipper, and I'm just going to put the lining in top, and I'm going to flip it, and I'm going to try to sew right in top of that stitch that you see right here. I'm going to sew the lining. Let me remove the card so it's easier for me to sew. I'm going to back stitch right here. Okay, so this is what you have first. So the next thing that you're going to do, you're going to get the other end of the fabric. You see, this is one end, so now I'm going to sew this end right here, just as I did the first time. I'm going to attach my zipper from the end right here. Let me remove the card so it's easier for me to sew right here. Okay, so then now this is what you have to be very mindful. Okay, so you have this pouch right here, so you wanna do this, you see, but many people made the mistake to sew this like this, and if you do that, it's not clean. You want to make sure that this is clean. So in order to be clean, you have to flip the lining. It had to be like this. So again, you want to place it not like this, but like this, and then you're going to put your hands inside and you want to flip it right here. Or let me see if I find another way to show you. So you see, this is done like this. So then you want to fold like this. So you have the fabric, which is going to be the outside, and you have the lining on this direction. And then you're going to sew again the lining. Let me unzip this a little bit. You're going to sew it right here on this edge right here. So then you're again going to try to sew in top of the stitch, this stitch right here. Let me pull this down like like this, like this. Let me take the card out of the way. Like this. This pouch, believe it or not, is almost done. This is almost done. What we're going to do now is that I'm going to change this to a regular machine or straight stick foot right here. And I'm going to close. The seam allowance is 1/2 inch, but I'm going to close a little less. You could close 1/2 inch, but I'm just going to do 3/8. But again, you can do the 1/2 inch. Okay, the seam allowance, I like to do it towards the lining, but you can do it either way. And you're going to continue sewing all of the way out. Okay, now on the other side, we cannot sew the whole seam because we need a hole to flip this to the right side out. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark on the lining, I'm going to mark an opening of 1.5 inches. I can use a pencil right here, and I'm going to do 1.5 inches right here. So this is what I'm going to do. You're going to sew, can be 1.5 inches or 2 inches. And then you're going to stop right here. You back stitch, then you start again. Lessen the seam allowance towards the lining. Lay back stitch right here. And that's it. Okay, so now you wanna give to this little pouch, you wanna give them some volume, right? So you can have a volume at the bottom. So what you're going to do, you flip it like on a triangle, and you can do as little a 1 inch of the volume at the bottom, or you can do a little more. If you're going to do 1 inch, you're just going to sew from here to here, meaning 1/2 inch on each side. So I'm going to do this. And that's going to be the bottom of the little pouch. If you do 1 inch here, you have to do the same amount here. You cannot do a different amount. So if I decide already to do 1 inch in one side, I'm going to do 1 inch on this side right here. And if it's easier for you, you can have a ruler and mark this stitch line right here. This is easier for you. Let me just show you. So if it's easier for you, you get a ruler. Oops, I don't have one right here, but let's pretend that this is a ruler, and you just mark it right here with the ruler. You see 1/2 inch to the right, 1/2 inch to the left, and you do the same on this side, or whatever amount you decide. I have to open it. Okay, so let's mark here 1 inch. I had the measurement on my eyes because I have been sewing forever. But you can feel free to measure this. Okay, so 1 inch. Since this is so little, you can choose to leave it or trim it. It's up to you. Oops. Oh my God. Okay. So right here. Okay. Okay, so believe it or not, this is almost done. You see, you have the self or outside of the fabric, and this is the lining. So you remember this little hole that we leave right here. Again, you can do 1.5 inches or 2 inches. You want to start flipping. The bigger that the hole is, the easier it is for you guys to flip this to the right side. You want to take your time right here. Okay. Dun, dun, dun. You're going to see how cute is that. And you can use any colorful fabric that you want. You can make it smaller. You can get a bigger zipper and make it bigger as well. Any size that you want. You can make it long, so you can say pencil. One of my students actually took this one, the same fabric, and she did some beading embroidery, and it came out so pretty, so rich. You see the inside is lined. I actually going to close this hole right here. Too bad I don't have white thread. It's going to be looking kind of messy with green, but you wanna close this hole right here. Back stitch. Let's put it inside again. Then you can zip up your little pouch. How cute is that? So I hope that you get a very good present, and make some of those and send me the picture.